Hey everyone, my name is Tegan and welcome back to TandeWrites, where today, in the name of spring cleaning, we are doing an unhaul. I've recently rearranged my bookshelves. I've taken off a lot of books that I own and I don't really want to own anymore, or books that I own, haven't read, and have got to a point where I know I'm never going to read them, and I'll be donating them to one of my local charity shops because they have this big sign up saying that they are in desperate need of fiction books, and I am more than capable of providing. So I have quite a lot of stacks next to me, and an embarrassing amount of stacks, but we're going to get through this. And I am very pleased with how my bookshelves have turned out. They probably look exactly the same to you. They're now, instead of it being alphabetical with A's that side, Z's that end, it's now the reverse, just because how my shelves are arranged. But a lot of books have come off. They're no longer double stacked. They perfectly fit at the moment. If you ignore the fact that I have a kind of like IKEA cart with some of my TBR pile on there. But how they are right now, it's fine. I guess I'm just going to start with whatever's closest to me. So first up we have The Principle of Moments. This is the Aluma Crate special edition, and the only reason I have this book is because when I was on the waitlist, or when you're on the waitlist for Aluma Crate in general, when you get to the top of the list you have to sign up with whatever box, whatever theme they have available, or you get put to the bottom of the list again. And this is just the one that I got. It's a sci-fi book. I don't really read sci-fi. I have a video unboxing this box somewhere. I can tell that I didn't really want it. I wanted it just to get onto the list, which is very terrible for this. I'm so sorry to not appreciate this author as they deserve, but I only have this to get on the Aluma Crate wait list. And currently I don't have an Aluma Crate subscription because I skipped 6 months in a row and they kicked me off. And I don't think you can sign up again after you've been kicked off. I think you're allowed to use 6 skips per year. I just happened to use them all in a row because I had 6 books in a row that weren't of interest to me. So yeah, it is probably for the best that I'm not clinging onto a subscription that is not fueling me anymore. So my undying loyalty is now to Unhaul. Originally I thought I was going to try and sell this book because it is a special edition, but this is one that I've seen come up a lot already on Vinted. So I think, I don't know there's a demand, but there is plenty of supply. Next we have Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soul by Schwab. This is just, I got some Waterstones. This is pretty much just like a standard signed edition, and I'm getting rid of this because I have somewhere, I think it's probably on one of the shelves above me, I have a very pretty edition of this book that I got again off Vinted. It's a special edition. I can't remember if it was like a Fairy Loot one or some kind of other company, but it's gorgeous. I don't need 2 of them. And also I think when I read the book I'm probably going to read the ebook because this is just such an absolute brick. It's also got a lot of sun damage because where my books are, they're directly in the skylights. I don't really care about damaging them because they're mine, but they damage very quickly. Yeah, if I read this I'm going to read it in ebook because this is far too big and uncomfortable. I've tried to read it. What's this? That's unrelated. Yeah, tried to read it. I can't hold it with how my wrists hurt. Next we have, this is the Luminaries trilogy by Susan Dennett. I've read the first one and enjoyed it. I read the second one, didn't enjoy it. I've not read the third. These I'm gonna list on Vinted and see if I can maybe sell them first. I'm gonna put them in the right order. Because they are like the Waterstones paperbacks, but they are the special edition. They're like a matching set. I'll see if anyone wants them all together, but if not, I hope they go to a good home either way. So the first one on the site is Percy Jackson and the Greek Heroes. There's a lot of, not Percy Jackson, but Riordan books that'll be coming up where I've kind of started collecting the series and given up. So the only ones that I'm keeping are Percy Jackson and the Olympians and the Heroes of Olympus. Because I have a full matching set. And this one, I enjoyed it, it was fine, I have no desire to keep it. Someone will love this more than I do. And that's going to be a theme for a lot of these. Next we have A Little Life and the other one. These you can buy on Amazon in a set together. When I read A Little Life, it hit me at a very specific point in the time where I loved it so much I cried reading it. Now, looking back, I'm not going to reread it. I don't need a physical copy, and if I did, it wouldn't be this physical copy. Also, this is huge, and the font's tiny, and there is just a lot of controversy surrounding this book, so I just don't want it visible on my shelves behind me. And People in the Trees, I've not read. I must have wanted to read it to get it, but I think I'm just going to clear these out of my life, because I'm not going to read it anytime soon. I can read it as a library book or ebook if I do want to read it. Next we have Holly Black. This is the Cruel Prince little box set thing. I must have got this from The Works because they do a lot of these box sets for less than a tenner. Apparently the RRP is $26.99. I did not pay that. I enjoy these books a lot, but not enough to just keep them on my shelf like this. And I'm also not huge on a box set. I would like, maybe if I wanted to have them, I'd probably have different covers. But I'm not gonna reread them. I did reread them, I reread them as audiobooks, and I enjoyed the audiobooks, so I think if I read them again in the future, it'll be by that form. So I just don't have any need for these anymore. And pretty much all these books are read. They just look in, it's like some of them are like in perfect, crisp condition, because I'm afraid to break my spines. But most of them are read. I say most of them are read. Next up is The Midnight Library by Mac Haig. I own this. I've owned it for a long time now. I'm pretty sure I would have got it in like one of the, around COVID when Waterstones was doing the half price hardcover sale on the Boxing Day. I just don't think I'm ever going to get around to reading this. And I read some reviews for it. I think if I did read it, I'd probably give it 3 stars max. So there's no need for me to have and like treasure a physical copy. Last time I did one of these unhauls, I got rid of some of my John Green books, except my favourite ones. I'm now getting rid of all my John Green books. So the Fault in Our Stars is going. This one has been read a few times because it's a little bit early, because it got passed around my friend group to read. Looking for Alaska's going. And Turtles All the Way Down, which is probably my favourite John Green book, I want to say. I'm now reading it. It says Special Limited Edition Jacket Poster. I don't think I've ever looked at this. It's very orange. This is what the Special Limited Edition Jacket Poster is. And it's just got some general John Green quotes in there. It's not even specific to the book. But these, again, it's a case of I'm never going to reread them. And I really enjoyed them at a point in time in my life, but not enough to keep hold of. We have Room by Anna Donoghue. I enjoyed it. I loved it. Never going to reread it. It's not like an all-time favourite to, again, be worth taking up my shelf space. But this one, I think, as it's going to a charity shop, I'm pretty sure you can find this quite often in charity shops anyway, so they can have another copy. City of Brass is a book I was gifted. Whoever gave it to me was adamant I'd love it. A lot of people really love this book. I just can't see myself reading it. I've had it for a few years now. I got it before I went to uni, so it's over 5, 6, 7 years ago. I'm just not gonna get around to reading it. And also books like this, where I'm pretty sure they're first in a series. If I did want to start collecting physical copies, by now, like, the covers have probably changed. There's probably newer editions. And I'm very big on matching sets. The Bunker Diary by Kevin Brooks was another favourite book that I've just never heard anyone talk about. I don't know how this came onto my radar or how I owned it, but one of my favourite books when did this come out? 2013. I must remember it came out. I was 12. This guy was born 20 minutes down the road from me. How did this come into my radar? Because it's not a book that I've like won in a competition or anything like that, but really loved this back in the day. I imagine it's not going to hold up, but I read it many times and it's got a lot of life and love from me. It can go to a new home. Lore by Alexandra Bracken. This is the book from the first Owl Crate box I got, and I stopped getting them for a long time because I couldn't justify the cost. So I don't know what's happened, like why the dust jacket looks like that. But a book I loved. This one, again, it's a case of I've reread it via audiobook. If I want to reread it again, it'll be via audiobook. This one is just such an awkward size. It doesn't really fit on any of my shelves easily, so I just want it gone out of like rage. But I probably will look around and see if there is different physical copies in the future. But yeah, for a special edition, all they've really changed about this one is the colour. The original is white, this one's black. It's not special enough as a special edition for me to keep hold of it. Like, yeah, it's signed. I hope someone loves it. And then Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. I must have spoken about this. I don't know if it was a book where I was talking about every book on my physical TBR or just a different kind of unhaul. But I set this aside because I thought, if I don't read this, I need to get rid of it. That's like a fun title page. And it's still been years and I've not read this. I got this book around the time it comes out. I can't tell you anything about what it's about. When did it come out? 2016. So I've had this book for 10 years now, not read it. You can imagine I'm probably not going to. And it's like quite a chunker. That takes up the space of, like, you know, 2 other paperbacks. This is not a very efficient book. Then we have Anna Dressed in Blood and Girl of Nightmares. Anna Dressed in Blood I really loved. Girl of Nightmares not so much. I just don't feel the need to own them. I think these are very much, from what I remember of them, are very much a product of the time. I don't know if they age well or if they feel very like 2012 to 2016. When did this book actually come out? 2012. Yeah, products of the time. I can't see myself rereading them. I think it was Aluma Crate who released like special edition sets of these, and I was almost tempted, but I don't like them that much. As in, like, I don't like all the editions I like that much. But these, so I'm not going to enjoy them. And I do kind of like giving away full matching sets because I hope a different reader in a charity shop can find them and buy them together. I hope they go together. We're going to move back and get some Percy Jacksons out of the way. These are like they're not Percy Jacksons, they're like the other series. The ones I started reading, started collecting, and then just didn't finish them. So I have 2 Magnus Chase books, 1 Trials of Apollo, and 2 Kane Chronicles. I can't remember again if I've read all of these in physical or if it was library books. I have a vague memory of reading Magnus Chase on like a holiday on, it must have been a library book. So these are like pretty crisp, pretty untouched. They just have some like shelf wear and they've been on the shelves for a long time. So Kane Chronicles, I just don't really care for. And I'm kind of sad that these aren't a full set to give away. They're just like incomplete ones. So I had 2 Kane Chronicles books, 2 Magnus Chase ones. I do quite enjoy Magnus Chase. They're fun, they're exciting. And then 1 Trials of Apollo. Those I also didn't, if they were complete sets of each, I think they were trilogies, there's like 5 Trials of Apollo books. If they were like complete versions of those series, I could have been swayed to keep them a bit more. Because I like how lots of series look on my shelves. Like I had at one point pretty much every Cassandra Clare book and they just look so nice, taking up a lot of shelf space, but I can't justify it anymore. And yeah, my current Riordan books are down below me here. So I have the original Percy 5 Percy Jackson, the 5 Heroes of Olympus, the sort of like the spin-off Percy and Annabeth and Grover, their little series. I don't remember what they're called, but Percy doing like his college quests. And then I do have the Nico and Will books. Not read them, but I have them. Just because I'm very invested in them as characters, and I know I will read those. Then The Light That Blinds Us is a book that I only got because when Sunrise on the Reaping came out, if you bought it in W.H. Smith's, you could get it for £10 and you got this book as the free book. I'm not sure what's going on there. Because to me it kind of feels vaguely, there's like a slight scandal. There's a lot of discussion on specific parts like TikTok and Twitter about people who went to buy Sunrise on the Reaping. Because in W.H. Smith's you can get it for £10 instead of £20, and people who felt like they're forced into buying this book. So there's a lot of people who don't like this book just because they kind of felt pressured into buying it. And yeah, I picked it up. I hope I counted towards this author's sales. I hope this book has been successful number-wise, and I hope they find a true audience who loves reading it and wants to read it without buying it just to get a deal. Then we have 16 Stars by Rosie Talbot. This must be like the Waterstones edition. It's signed, it's got blue pages. This author is also absolutely lovely. One time, I follow her on TikTok, she was showing off, she got like a swag bag, a merch bundle from a publisher for Unraveller by Frances Hardinge. And I loved that book because I had an advance copy. I've had love of it. I just sent her like a little comment saying like, oh my god, I'm jealous. I sent her a comment saying like, oh, I love this book, hope you enjoy it. And then she sent me her merch bundle. I will ride or die for this author. However, I am getting rid of her books. I read it, I enjoyed it. I think I wouldn't reread it because this one, I feel like for me, when I was reading it the first time, I felt like I wasn't just the intended target audience for it. I think I felt slightly too old to relate to the characters. Like, did enjoy it, but not as much as I would if I was, say, maybe like 3 or 4 years younger than I was at the time. Rosie I think she was originally going to self-publish this book, and she was talking about like a lot of the process there, and it got picked up very like snappily, very close to the self-publishing release date by the actual publisher. And that's just like a fun story that I like to follow. And as a self-published author, she was like very good at like answering my questions about Ingram Spark. So yeah, I will like ride or die for her. I am unfortunately clearing her off my shelf space. We're making progress. Here we have Medusa by Jessie Burton, which is this like graphic, I say it's not a graphic novel, it's like a novel, and it's got a lot of like very beautiful illustrations throughout. I love this. Well, I didn't love it. I read it. Oh, I love the art. It's such a beautiful book. But I got it because it was in a Waterstones half-price hardcover sale. It was an impulse purchase. I liked it. I like the idea. I'm not going to reread it. And that's about it. But also because it is like pretty big font, not a huge amount of words, and illustrated, I hope someone could pick this up and this could be a book that gets them into reading more, again, like specifically mythology. Then we have Together We Rot by Skylar Arndt, which I think I put this on like my Amazon wish list. I wanted to read this to see if it could be a good comparison title for my book. It would have been, no, because I would have been done right paper for us. I was trying to see if this would be a good comparison title for this like kind of Frankenstein reimagining idea that I'm working on. It's not. That's about it. This is about a kid trying to escape a cult. and the woods are sentient, as all woods are. But I liked it. I liked it. And that's about it. I've not thought about it since I put the book down. We have The Stolen Heir by Holly Black, which, again, I liked it. Not as much as the Cruel Prince books, and I don't like it enough to keep it. Again, this, I'm pretty sure, was a Waterstones deal. Because I think there was a brief moment in my life where you could only convince me to buy a standard hardcover if it was on sale. Let's get this lovely chunk out of the way. So here is some. These are all my Vampire Diaries books. They are... So I have where... The first book... Yeah, this is nostalgic. I think I once said to one of my friends that if you see me logging these as a reread on Goodreads, just ignore me. I'm going through something. This is my Twilight. And I will say I've never seen the Vampire Diaries show. I had a friend who was obsessed with it. From what I know about it, I would hate it because it's not book accurate. But also, this book was fun because, like, the first book, books 1 and 2, books 1 and 2, that's 2 books. And this one, books 3 and 4, this is multiple books. And I believe at some point this series got taken over by a ghostwriter, which is why, as you see further down, the books get shorter and shorter. That's when they're in college. But these books were so fun. You have Elena, who is like a ghost and a vampire, and she's an angel and she's human again. It was a ride. But I really love these books. I'm getting rid of them just because they take up so much space. I could relocate them. I have a shelf in my bedroom, which is where like my Cassandra Clare's, my like big collections, my childhood reads, like my Jacqueline Wilsons are there, my Meg Cabots, my Princess Diaries are all in there. But these, I did read them when I was probably like 11 or 12, quite young, but they're not quite childhood books because they're meant to be teen, I believe. These were $6.99. Books used to be $6.99 back in the day. These are now $9.99 each. But yeah, these are fun, these are exciting. I hope someone else enjoys a full set of... There's 13 here. I don't know how many books there are in total, but I hope someone can enjoy at least 13 Vampire Diaries books. Then we have We Are Okay by Nina the Court. This is because I got gifted a nicer copy. This is a secondhand one. Or I bought all of my Nina the Court books secondhand on Water Books. This is actually like the nicest condition one out of the lot, but the new one I got is in like a slightly better condition again. So this one's just going, so I don't need two, and obviously I'm going to keep the nicer one. The Death House by Sarah Pinborough. This is a book that I must have won in a writing competition when I was 11 or 12. It's signed, because I can't think of any other reason why this would have been in my life, because I've never heard anyone talk about this book, or mention this book, but also I was, again, 11 or 12 at the time. I wouldn't have been on whatever the bookish social medias were. This came out 2014, 2015. I was maybe 14 then. I loved it. This is a book, it was the only book I took away for a weekend somewhere. I read it, I finished it, I teared up slightly at the ending, and then I went back to the start and I read it all over again. A very defining book on my preteens, but it's not grown with me, so therefore it has to go. Then we have The Dark We Know. This is a book that I read as an advanced copy, and I enjoyed it, but I don't know if I was just like not in a right state of mind, because I remember like I must have been skim reading this. Like I enjoyed it, I couldn't tell you what happened. I read it, did I not read it? But I got it, I think I pre-ordered this one because I've got like a pin that goes with it, and also like I got the signed book plate, and also we have these are like gorgeous, by the way. These are, I don't like the page overlays, like gorgeous art. I'm gonna try and hide these in the book somewhere, or not like in the book, and I hope someone can like enjoy it all together. Again, I hope all the little readers at my charity shop can have a sweet treat. I really love this art, by the way. Maybe I'll reread this one and give it another go, because yeah, I remember liking it, but I can't tell you anything about it. We have Old Wounds, which is a trans horror, which is a book that I liked, I didn't love. I think I got this in Waterstones on a buy one get one half price table. I believe it's coming back to me. But yeah, liked it. It felt very repetitive in like a situation where characters keep escaping from something, that they get caught, they escape, they get caught, they get caught, on and on and on. It's a fun something where both of the main characters are trans, and there's this creature in the book that feeds on girls and requires a female sacrifice. And there's this fun little debate about it, on if trans girls are girls or if we should sacrifice the trans man and like whatever's going on here. But yeah, this is a fun little book. So Wake the Bones, I really love the font on this one. This was another book like Together We Rot that I bought to see if it would be a good comparison title for something I'm working on. It wasn't, and also when I was reading this, I for whatever reason just wasn't following what was going on at all. And I think for whatever that reason, it's probably just because I was like so tired reading it or something like that, that I just could not be done with it. This is also like one of the first books where I actually saw like a content warnings page in print, which is quite fun. I quite like that. And if you don't like content warnings in books, just turn the page. Then let's do all of these together. We have The Gentleman's Guide of Vice and Virtues, to Vice and Virtue, which I read probably when it came out in ebook form, because this is a crisp paperback, and like I enjoyed it. It was probably one of like, when did I start reading this? To me, it was probably like one of the first queer books I read. 2017, I was 16, and that's just not true. I remember it being like defining for being queer for some reason to me. So I read that, enjoyed it. But also you see that this is a paperback, these are hardcovers. Then I read the second book, which is the Felicity book, which I remember must have been like the first asexual book or defining asexual book I read. And I read that in ebooks, so I don't own that. And I enjoyed it, but not enough to continue the series. Because then we have the third book about, is it the younger brother? And then I also have like the novella spin-off. I've read that, it was fine. But no desire to keep this mismatched, incomplete set in my life. Here we have Only a Monster by Vanessa Len. A book that I enjoy. I thought I was really going to love it. Because I think some people I know read it and really loved it. But I enjoyed it. It ended at a place where I was kind of frustrated, and I had no desire to read the sequel, or there might be a trilogy. I had no desire to keep reading the series. Then we have Loveless and Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I'm getting rid of these because I now have here behind me, I have like the anniversary edition, nice new set, so I don't need the old covers anymore, except I'm keeping the old solitaire cover. Because that one is like completely different again to these ones. So Solitaire came out, Radio Silence came out, and then any book that came out after that had like this cover on it, which would have been, yeah, Loveless and I Was Born for This. So I had a mismatched set. I've now replaced it with a matching set, except Solitaire's a hardcover and the other one's a paperback. And then the original cover of Solitaire, which used to be bright orange, is now sun faded down to this lovely pale yellow colour. I'm keeping for nostalgia reasons. Because that is a book, it's not a book I won, but back in the day there was this writing website called Novellas, you know, kind of like a Wattpad quota. It was like mostly a fan fiction and original fiction writing website. They had competitions. One of the prizes for one of them was Solitaire. Actually, I can't remember if I did win this one thing or not. So I either won this book from winning one of those competitions, or I saw it as a prize and I was interested enough to buy it myself. But that one I'm keeping for nostalgia reasons. These two don't need, but I really do love these like minimalist covers. Then we have the Rainbow Rowell books. Last time I did one of these, I got rid of like the Carry On, the Simon Snow series. Now we're getting rid of these two because I just have no desire to look at them anymore. Eleanor and Park. When I first read it, I fell in love with it because it's a time where I have such a connection to the characters. It hit me at a good time in my life. But now looking back, I've read everyone's thoughts about the representation in this book, and I have no desire to keep that on my shelves. And Fangirl, I really enjoyed because I was a big fangirl at the time and I was writing fan fiction, and I felt represented in this one, but no desire to keep it. I think both of those are like pretty easy to find in charity shops already, but maybe my copies will be, my copies are not even that nice. I definitely took them around with me a lot. This is Everland, which is again a book I've heard no one talk about. This is, to my memory, like kind of like a steampunk World War II era Peter Pan reimagining, where they have like Tinkerbell has mechanical wings. This is a book I hate because it has deckled edges and I don't like touching them. But I really enjoyed it when I read it. I think about it every now and then because it's a cool concept, but I'm never going to reread it in physical copy because I dislike the edges so much. And we have The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. I probably read this way too young. I read it around the same time that I read Room. So they were like my first adult books, in a sense. I say I enjoyed it. I remember thinking it was okay, but obviously I was so young that I was definitely not the audience for this book. But I do want to watch the film. And again, this is a very easy one to find in charity shops, but this version's like quite crisp and nice and only has minimal sun damage. And now we're in the final few. I'm getting rid of A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Is this both my Patrick Ness books? This must be both my Patrick Ness books. The rest of us just live here. I talk about every now and then. I really love it because I am someone who watches films. I'm more interested in the lives of like the secondary characters, the side characters than the main characters. So this is fun and exciting. A Monster Calls, really quite enjoy it. Not enough to keep it. But these, I think, I loved them at a certain time in my life. I'm just not 14 anymore. And then finally, in the same vein as the rest, we have All the Bright Places. I've kept hold of for so long because it was like a good comparison title to my book There Will Be Other Summers. So I like to have it around so I could like take photos and do like flat lays of all the books that felt connected to me. I think I'm trying to have like less sad on my shelves because now I write so much sad. I don't think I need these, but this book was very important to me. When I reread it more recently, it was still very important to me. I love the character, I love the characters. I think I've watched half of the film, so I can't really comment on that, but this is like a very defining, this represents who I was at, 13, 14, 15. And that is all the books I'm spring cleaning. That's, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 50, 40. So that is 48, that's 51, plus all the Vampire Diaries. That is 64 books. So I've had to get rid of 64 books to try and fit everything onto my shelves. This is like way more than the last time I did a spring cleaning haul, I think. And most of these, I'm going to be donating pretty much all of these except the Luminaries ones. Just because I don't think, a lot of secondhand books don't have value. Like when you're scrolling vintage, you see every book is selling for £2-3, and I'd rather just give it to a charity shop for someone else to love than you pay more shipping than the item you're like paying for. So that's what that is. I wish I could pull all of these in to try and take a thumbnail somehow, but they're not budging, they're not moving. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this unhaul. I hope you were inspired to clean your own bookshelves. And I hope that at some point I'll have more content other than hauls, unhauls, unboxings and all that soon. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you next time. Bye!